If your manhood has stopped working the way it used to, if your mornings are quiet, your confidence slipping, and you're of pretending it doesn't bother you, then listen closely because what I'm about to share may surprise you, even shock you. You see, after treating thousands of men over the age of 60, I've discovered that the single most overlooked cause of weak erections is not low testosterone. It's poor blood flow. And the fix? It's not a blue pill. It's not an expensive device. It's not even a supplement. In fact, it's a simple vegetable that you can eat every morning. And within days, your circulation, your energy, and your manhood can begin to return. My name is Dr. Jocelyn. I'm a men's health specialist with over 30 years of experience helping older men regain their strength, confidence, and vitality. And in today's video, I'm going to walk you through a powerful, natural solution backed by science, trusted by real patients, and easily available in every grocery store. Because when you start your morning with this one food, everything changes. Blood pressure stabilizes, nitric oxide rises, oxygen flows exactly where it's needed, including down there. Most men don't know this. That's why I urge you stay with me until the very end. I'll explain exactly how it works, how to use it, and why so many men see results in as little as 7 days. Before we dive into the full method, take a second to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. That way, you'll never miss another tip that helps you reclaim your strength, energy, and confidence. And if this message speaks to you, just type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 so I know how to serve you better. Let's begin with the real reason so many men over 60 struggle with weaker erections and why it has far more to do with blood flow than with testosterone. I want to begin with something most men never hear. Not from their doctor, not from their friends, and certainly not from television commercials. And yet, it's one of the most important truths I've learned over my 3 decades as a men's health physician. Erections don't just disappear after 60 because you're getting older. That's the myth everyone accepts without question. The real reason is far more specific and far more fixable. Your blood simply isn't moving the way it used to. I've had countless men sit across from me in my office. Good men, strong men, men who've worked hard their whole lives and provided for their families without complaint. They look me in the eye and say with resignation in their voice, "Doc, I think I'm just past my prime." And I look right back at them and tell them the truth they've never heard before. No, you're not. Your prime is still in you. It's your circulation that's been neglected, not your manhood. You see, your ability to get and maintain an erection depends on one key system in your body: blood flow. More specifically, the flow of oxygen-rich blood into the tiny vessels of your penis. And that flow is powered by a gas your body produces naturally, something called nitric oxide. When you were younger, your nitric oxide levels were high. That's why everything worked so quickly, so easily, often without much effort or thought at all. But after 60, your nitric oxide drops dramatically, sometimes by more than 70%. Your arteries begin to stiffen with age. The inner lining of your blood vessels, called the endothelium, becomes less responsive to signals. As a result, the surge of blood that once filled your penis like a balloon is now reduced to a trickle. The hydraulics of your body have simply slowed down. But here's what I need you to understand. You're not broken. Your body's just asking for help. And here's the part that hits home for so many of my patients. This change doesn't just affect your performance in the bedroom. It affects your confidence when you walk into a room. It affects your sense of self when you look in the mirror. It affects your emotional connection with your partner in ways neither of you openly discuss. The worst part is that most men are never told this is fixable. They're told it's just aging. They're told to accept it. But that's not the whole truth. Because believe it or not, there's a simple vegetable, one you can eat every morning, that helps your body rebuild nitric oxide and restart the engine that drives your erections, your energy, and your circulation. And in the next few minutes, I'll show you exactly what that vegetable is and why it's far more powerful than most pills on the market. When I first discovered the power of this vegetable, I'll admit I was skeptical. Not because I didn't believe in food as medicine. I've always known that what we eat shapes how we feel. But this just seemed too simple. Could something so ordinary, so inexpensive, really make a meaningful difference in how blood flows to the most vital parts of a man's body? But then I started seeing the results in my own practice. And I wasn't the only one noticing. My patients, men in their late 60s, 70s, even early 80s, were coming back after just a few weeks with a different energy about them. They'd say things like, Dr. Jocelyn, I woke up firm again for the first time in months. Or, for the first time in a long time, I felt ready like I used to. And all they had changed was adding this one food to their morning routine. The vegetable I'm talking about is beetroot. Yes, beets. The deep red root that often gets pushed aside on dinner plates or forgotten at the bottom of a salad bar. Most people walk right past it without a second thought. But hidden inside that humble vegetable is a compound your aging body desperately needs: dietary nitrate. When you eat beets, your body converts those nitrates into nitric oxide through a fascinating biological process. The very same gas that tells your arteries to relax, open up, and allow blood to flow freely through your system. What's remarkable is how targeted the effect can be. Increased blood flow doesn't just help your heart pump more efficiently or your brain think more clearly. It also improves circulation to your pelvic region, including the sponge-like tissue inside your penis that fills and expands during arousal. For older men, this is everything. You're not just improving your ability to get an erection, you're feeding the entire system that supports vitality, energy, and the confidence that comes from knowing your body still responds. And there's something else I want to share with you. Something personal from my practice. Years ago, I worked with a gentleman named Charles. He was 71, a retired engineer who had spent his career solving complex problems. Soft-spoken, but sharp. He came to me frustrated because he hadn't had a full erection in over a year. No morning stiffness, no response that felt complete. He'd tried everything his previous doctor suggested and nothing had worked. We made one simple change together. We had him start each morning with a glass of fresh beet juice, just 6 ounces. That was it. No complicated protocols, no expensive treatments. By week 2, he called my office. I could hear the emotion in his voice. He said, "Dr. Jocelyn, I feel like myself again." That's when I knew this wasn't just theory. It was real. It was changing lives. Now, you might be wondering exactly how this works. How can something as simple as a beet actually help restore the blood flow you had when you were younger? Let me explain what happens inside your body when you eat beets, because once you understand this process, it all starts to make sense. It's a bit like watching a slow-moving miracle unfold right beneath the surface. When you eat beets, you're not just getting fiber or antioxidants, you're giving your body a direct source of dietary nitrates. And those nitrates are the raw material your body uses to produce nitric oxide. It's a gas, invisible and silent, but it plays one of the most powerful roles in your entire vascular system. Nitric oxide tells your blood vessels to relax. It tells your arteries to open up. Let the blood flow. That's the signal your body has been missing for years. The journey begins in your mouth. As you chew the beet, bacteria on your tongue begin converting the nitrates into nitrites. Then, as you swallow, your stomach and bloodstream continue that process, finally turning those nitrites into nitric oxide that circulates throughout your entire body. Within minutes, you may feel a subtle lightness, a sense of better oxygenation. And over time, if you stay consistent with this practice, you'll experience stronger blood flow. Not just to your heart and brain, but to your lower body, where many men begin to feel the years catching up to them. I've had men tell me with tears in their eyes, "Doc, I thought I was done. I thought the best part of my life was behind me." But after 2 weeks of morning beet juice, they're calling back with a different voice entirely. They tell me they feel sharper throughout the day, more energetic when they wake up, and yes, more responsive in intimate moments with their partners. It's not just about sex, it's about identity. It's about waking up in the morning and knowing your body still listens to you, still responds when you ask something of it. And here's something even more exciting. Beets don't just help with blood flow. They actually protect your blood vessels from damage over time. They reduce inflammation throughout your system. They can even help lower blood pressure gradually. That means they're not just fixing one problem in isolation. They're strengthening your entire cardiovascular foundation for years to come. But of course, for all this to work properly, you need to know how to use beets the right way. The timing matters. The method of preparation matters. Even what you eat alongside them can make or break your results. There's something powerful about seeing the science come to life, not just in clinical trials or medical textbooks, but in real people sitting across from you in your office. I can tell you with absolute honesty that some of the most rewarding moments in my entire career have been hearing the quiet hope return in a man's voice when he says those 3 words. "Doc, it's working." Let me tell you about Mr. Anderson. He was 67 when he first came to see me, a retired teacher who had spent decades shaping young minds. Soft-spoken and proud, but clearly weighed down by something unspoken. He sat in my office and told me he hadn't had a full natural erection in over 8 months. No morning stiffness, no arousal that felt complete. It was starting to affect his marriage of 40 years, but more than that, it was changing how he saw himself as a man. He said with quiet desperation, "I feel like my body is betraying me and I don't know how to fight back." We talked about blood flow and nitric oxide and the role of diet in vascular health, and I suggested something simple. I asked him to start his mornings with half a cup of fresh beet juice. That was it. No prescriptions to fill, no pressure to perform, just a quiet commitment to himself each morning. After about 2 weeks, he called my office. His voice was lighter than I'd ever heard it, almost surprised by his own words. He said, "I woke up this morning and there it was. Not weak, not partial, solid. And I didn't need anything extra to make it happen." I could hear the pride returning, the dignity. It wasn't about performance anymore. It was about wholeness. He felt alive again. Mr. Anderson's story is not unique. I've seen this play out time and time again, in plumbers and accountants, in veterans and pastors. Men who thought their best years were permanently behind them, only to find that with a little support and consistency, their bodies still had more to give. What I want you to hear is this: you are not beyond help. Your body hasn't given up on you. It's waiting for the right signal, the right support. And when that signal comes through something as simple as a glass of beet juice, it reminds us just how intelligent and resilient the male body truly is. If there's one thing I've learned in my years of helping older men restore their health, it's this: timing and consistency can make all the difference between success and disappointment. You can have the right food, the right nutrients, the right intention. But if you use them the wrong way or at the wrong time, you won't get the results your body is capable of producing. Morning is the golden window for this practice. That's when your testosterone is naturally at its daily peak. Your blood vessels are most responsive to change. Your body is primed to absorb nutrients efficiently. Eating beets on an empty stomach or drinking beet juice first thing in the morning allows your body to convert those precious nitrates into nitric oxide far more efficiently than any other time of day. Here's what I recommend to my patients. Start with half a cup of roasted beet slices or blend a small beet into a morning smoothie. For those who prefer convenience, a scoop of high-quality beetroot powder in warm water can work just as well. You don't need much quantity. What matters is that you do it daily, before your first meal, with consistency. One more thing I always share with my patients: avoid brushing your teeth immediately before or after consuming beets. I know it sounds strange, but the friendly bacteria living in your mouth help start the process of converting nitrates into nitric oxide. If you use strong mouthwash or brush too aggressively too soon, you might actually block the very reaction your body needs to boost blood flow. It's these small details that turn a good habit into a great one. It's easy to focus only on what to add to your routine: the beet juice, the morning ritual, the circulation boosters. But over the years, I've come to realize something just as important. What you remove from your mornings can matter just as much, if not more, than what you include. I've had patients come to me frustrated, saying, "Doc, I'm drinking the beet juice like you said, but I'm not seeing much change." And when we looked deeper at their complete morning routine, we'd find their breakfast habits were quietly working against them. Foods they thought were harmless or even healthy were actually narrowing their arteries, inflaming their blood vessels, and blunting the very nitric oxide boost we were trying to achieve. One of the biggest culprits is processed breakfast meats: bacon, sausage, deli ham. These foods are loaded with sodium and preservatives that constrict blood vessels and reduce circulation to your pelvic region. Then there are the refined carbohydrates: white toast, muffins, sugary pastries. These spike your insulin levels and crash your hormones, including testosterone. And too much caffeine on an empty stomach increases cortisol, your body's main stress hormone, which tightens blood vessels and makes arousal more difficult. Instead of processed meats, reach for a boiled egg or a small handful of almonds. Instead of sugary toast or cereal, try a slice of avocado on whole grain bread. These kinds of foods pair beautifully with beets. They provide healthy fats, vitamins, and minerals that nourish your blood vessels and support hormonal balance throughout the day. When you make that shift, removing what clogs your system and replacing it with foods that nourish and protect, Your body responds in ways you can feel. There's something sacred about the quiet of the morning, before the noise of the world settles in. For many of the men I work with, those early hours become more than just a time to eat or prepare for the day. They become a moment to reconnect with themselves, to remember who they are, to take back something they thought was permanently lost. For so many of my older patients, building a morning ritual around something as simple as drinking beet juice becomes a genuine turning point. It's no longer just about improving circulation or achieving firmer erections, though those things absolutely matter. It becomes about showing up for yourself each day. Nourishing your body first thing in the morning sends a powerful message. I still care. I'm still fighting for me. I remember one patient in particular, a 74-year-old widower who had spent the last few years in what he called quiet retreat from life. He didn't go out much anymore, didn't feel like himself. But he committed to the morning habit every single day without fail. Beet juice at sunrise, followed by a short walk and a few deep breaths. After 3 weeks, he told me something I'll never forget. I feel like I've woken up, not just physically, something else, something deeper. That's the kind of transformation we're really talking about here. Because truthfully, it's not just about erections or blood flow measurements. It's about identity. When you start your day with intention and care and power, your body begins to trust you again. And in that trust, real healing begins. One of the most common questions I get from men when I recommend this natural approach is this: Dr. Jocelyn, how long until I actually feel something? It's a fair question, because when you've gone months or even years feeling like your body is letting you down, it's hard to believe that something so simple could spark real change. In the first few days, most men don't notice major changes in their bedroom performance. But they do notice something subtle happening. A little more color in their face when they look in the mirror. Slightly better focus throughout the day. Even an easier time getting out of bed in the morning. That's not random coincidence. It's the beginning of your circulatory system waking up again. By day 4 or 5, that nitric oxide boost starts to build momentum. Blood vessels begin to open more freely. You may feel warmer hands and feet. Some men tell me they feel lighter overall, like their body isn't working quite so hard just to get through the day. Then comes day 7. This is where things get genuinely interesting. A few of my patients have reported waking up with their first spontaneous morning erection in months. No medication involved, no external stimulation required, just the natural result of blood finally reaching where it needs to go. And it's not just the physical response, it's the emotional lift that follows. That sense of, I'm back. By the 2-week mark, many men begin to see measurable improvements. Stronger responses to touch, more consistent energy throughout the day, even lower blood pressure readings in some cases. And if you stay consistent for a full 30 days, it becomes more than just a change. It becomes a foundation for lasting health. The key is not perfection, it's consistency. You're not forcing your body, you're supporting it. And when you give your body what it needs day by day, it responds with gratitude. If you're still here with me, I want to take a moment to speak directly to you. Not as a doctor, but as someone who's walked beside thousands of men just like you. Men who've carried quiet shame about their bodies, silent frustration about what's been lost, a growing sense of disconnection from who they used to be. I'm here to remind you that it doesn't have to stay that way. The truth is, your body is still listening, still responding, still capable of remarkable change, even if the world has stopped expecting it of you. And sometimes all it takes is one small, steady act of care, like adding beets to your morning, to begin that ripple effect of healing. I've seen it happen in men who thought their best years were over, only to discover that strength and confidence were still alive inside them, just waiting for the right signal. By now, you've seen the full picture. You've learned that the real reason so many men struggle with weaker erections after 60 isn't primarily about testosterone. It's about circulation. You've discovered that beetroot, a simple and often overlooked vegetable, has the power to reignite nitric oxide production, restore blood flow, and bring life back to the parts of you that once felt lost. You've seen what happens inside the body when you eat it, how real men just like you have experienced profound changes, and how timing, especially in the morning, can make all the difference. So here's what I want to leave you with. Don't wait for a better moment. Don't wait for more motivation or another wake-up call. You have everything you need right now: the knowledge, the tools, the choice. One small act repeated each morning can build a rhythm of healing that touches every part of your life. Your energy, your confidence, your relationships, your sense of identity as a man. No matter how many years you've lived or how long you felt disconnected from the man you once were, that version of you is still there, waiting, ready. Beats are just the beginning. Let this be the first morning of the rest of your life. You're not done, far from it. You're just getting started.